Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's V from Gun4IR, and I got a special quick live stream today because I have a special guest that came to visit me. The one, the only Kio Diekin is helping me out, and we're doing some testing. What's going on, man?
What's going on, people?
He's the man behind the camera right now, and we got a special treat because Ray from RPEG Electronics has finally sent me the Super Jolt gun that's been modded with the Gun4IR technology. So if you guys haven't checked it out, there's been lots of content recently. Retro Ralph covered it. I had a live stream 2 weeks ago on my Next Level show talking about the Gun4IR system, and I finally got it in hand, and I've been waiting to open it. Raymond's been messaging me and saying, hey, when are you going to open it and test it out? My first impressions, it feels fantastic. This is it right here. This is the, I want to bring this in, the Super Jolt gun that's been modded to be able to have the recoil function, has everything modded inside with the Gun4IR. I set up the sensors. But the biggest question that we had to think about its compatibility, we know that it works with PC mods, but can it work with a Pi, specifically a Pi4? And who better than Kio Diekin to really figure out if we can test it and see if it works. So Kio, did you have any first thoughts or reactions when you saw the gun?
Oh, you want me to jump in here?
Yeah, here, I'll turn you around.
Okay.
There you go. There's Kio.
What's going on, everyone? So I absolutely love the gun. And, I can't touch it because it's hooked up right now. Okay. Absolutely love it. And I will tell you, it actually feels like a real authentic light gun, something that was very similar to what they had for Time Crisis, and also Area 51, and it has I would say almost the same weight, but the clickiness, the recoil, it's probably the best authentic gun I've touched in a while.
Yeah, and that's just because it's actually a Super Jolt replica. So I mean, these are harder to find now, and Ray's been sourcing them. So Ray, if you're watching or what's up, we tricked you. He was here the whole time. All right. So what we did was we were testing it out for the first time just to see if it would register as a mouse. But essentially, the Arduino board plugs in, it registers, and we have Kio Diekin's Pi4, which he carries with him everywhere, by the way. He just popped over to my house to pick up something else and was like, oh, I have a Pi4 in my bag. You want to try and test this out? I was like, I'm pretty sure if there's anybody that carries a Pi4 around with them, it's Kio Diekin. So we are repping the Venom image for Kio's Venom image that came out in February. It's awesome. It has the greatest, biggest light gun collection on a Pi. And check it out. I don't know if you guys can see it, but we are starting to track it. We plugged it in to the Pi, and you see that cursor? It is moving along the cursor pretty fluidly. And this was us doing some quick calibration to even get it registering, but it registered in the mouse almost immediately, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all we had to do, well, Kio, because he's the expert, was configure, make sure the light gun mouse setting, and we got it to work with the click. So we just got to hit the start button, but we can test out some Duck Hunt. Do you want to test it out?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, do I just press this one?
Press the start button.
Start button. And this?
Yeah.
Is this the right one? Or maybe you got to press
it. No, I'll press it.
Oh, there it goes. All right, so you feel this? Got that recoil, got a nice recoil. Got the mouse cursor on here, but this is our first live testing of the Gun4IR using a Pi. So I know JV said it could be done. I know Ray was saying that it pretty much registers as a mouse, but until you actually get it in hand and you're testing it out, that's where you might see some of the differences with this. But it feels really good so far. I know that when you're playing on a PC, there's a calibration menu that you can try to work with the sensors. So the line of sight accuracy feels good on the sight, but there's probably just a slight drag on the cursor itself. And I don't know if that's something because if it's my TV or something else. I'm super new to this. We just plugged this in about 30 minutes ago. We're just excited to see that this is working already with the Pi4. So that's pretty much the live stream. We wanted to just get on here, see if there's any questions, but it's tracking, it's working well. I mean,
no bezels.
No bezels.
Full screen. Right. Full screen.
Full screen.
No bezels. Obviously, there's some additional calibration we could mess with. I haven't really tested it out with additional games. I know somebody is asking for a gun comparison. So we did play around with both of them a little earlier. I do have some video from that, but I can tell you, holding both guns, I'd probably prefer the Gun4IR. It gives you, again, that recoil experience. If you notice the gun.
It's the Super Jolt, yeah.
Yeah, the Super Jolt. You see how it's clicking going back? Well, the sending gun has a built-in solenoid, so it more or less vibrates. It doesn't give you that authentic arcade feel like this when he pulls the trigger.
This super jolt is just freaking awesome. You're just gonna do this, and if I hold it down, yeah, that's just the coolest thing ever. If you're like holding it down, you can get a gun like we're playing Aliens or Terminator 2, right? If you're holding it down to like press the button, that's kind of like what it would be like. So it's freaking awesome. It feels great. Everything was plugged in pretty. Again, the line of sight accuracy is really good for now. And I was planning doing a PC mod, but you know, seeing Venom and seeing its compatibility with Pi automatically, the applications are pretty versatile. It's just running a Pi4 again. We plugged it in and it registered almost immediately. You went into RetroArch menu, you saw the mouse cursor already moving around without having to do any other settings. So that's pretty awesome. So great job, JB and Rain for setting this up. We just wanted to go live really quickly to show you guys what's up. Gun4IR, man, it's happening. This is the gun. This is the one, and it's definitely the Gun4IR technology. But man, I'm such a fan of super jolts. Like I didn't know these existed before. It comes with a pedal, so you can map it out to pedal too. So we don't have any. I'm not doing a pedal launch. Let me see if there's any questions or thoughts in chat. So Gun4IR to the moon. There it is. People are saying, my boy Kio, what's up? But we need a way to use them with real hardware like PS1 and PS2. You know what? JB was talking about being able to use them with real consoles too, and he's actually been programming and working on that. So I think there was a couple of requests for that. So I do think JB is going to be working on that as well. Yeah, it would be more easier than setting up the send-in for the console. Yes. Am I going to run a test on the ALU? I don't have an ALU with light guns on it set up just yet. So, I mean, eventually maybe that's something that we'll work on. But for the most part, when I do a lot of my modding, I'm a very much a PC guy. It's the easiest thing for me. So I'm personally going to be putting together my own launch box or light gun build because I have plans to, if you look at my arcade right now, it's a little bit of a mess and I don't have room for a full size like light gun. I could maybe put it into this with my big butt gunner. But I'm thinking of adding a pedestal and then eventually adding in my Aliens guns as a pedestal and then having the light guns on the side of it that I can play on this 50-inch screen. So that's the ultimate plan for me. I don't know if I'll be using it with an At Games Legends Ultimates, but the possibilities are there if it works with a Pi4. You know, we've got to see what the connections would be like for running it through ALU if the mouse setting would register with it. But I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, so just so you guys know, aside from just setting it up and turning on the Venom image, setup for this took about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
No joke. 10 minutes. It didn't require me to win SCP or log into anything else to get it to work. So we plugged it in, went through the RetroArch settings, got it to work, and there you see it's working. So that was it. And the accuracy is phenomenal. If you also notice too, there's no drag effect on here. I don't know if I'll put that in this video.
I mean, it's a little bit, but
I don't see too much. I can look at it and tell.
Yeah, Raymond knows tracking is pretty good. It's really fast.
Someone wants to know if does it work with PS2 linking systems and Real Arcade Field with Time Crisis 2 and 3.
That would be a great Raymond and JB question. So I will leave a link to their YouTube channels after this. So and then message JB. He's been a developer of Gun4IR, so I would definitely recommend reaching out to him. I'm just a tester and a fan. Raymond reached out to me a couple of weeks ago, and I was just really happy to bring together several folks that were interested in light guns, including Kio, because he was really interested in seeing this in action. So this is my first game playing with it, and just seeing that it works with the Pi4. You guys know this was a proof of concept, if you will. Again, we have Duck Hunt on the NES. I'm sure we'd have to do some more settings to get it working with some of the other arcade mods. Mm-hmm. Is it super difficult to get it set up with the other emulators with the RetroArch?
I mean, this is probably the one that's more or less simpler.
The simpler one.
I mean, you know, where I know I won't need a keyboard and get logged out or anything like that. I mean, but also too, someone was just asking how long did it take to set up send-in with this. So remember, with send-in, you have to install the software. You have to get the gun. I'm just talking about a fresh install. You have to get the gun, download the software, go through WinSCP, SH into your Pi, like if you're transferring ROMs. Then make sure all the borders and everything are installed. Install the software. Once you have the software installed, you know, which could take you a while depending upon your expertise with Pi.
Yep.
Then, of course, go to the software on the Pi, turn it on, and then go into the game. With this was already plugged in, adjust the settings, and then you're good to go.
And the only things are here, right? Because Zen was saying that Membrano, so it doesn't take that long, honestly, and he doesn't mind the border either. But this has the 4 sensors on the 16-inch screen that, like, from that angle, you could hardly see it.
Right.
So if you have a setup like this where you're in a pedestal build and you have a big screen TV, it's hardly noticeable, like, when you're far away. So it doesn't detract, in my opinion, if you're going to be it. I think it would be more difficult if you're installing into a cabinet, because then you have to account for the size of where you're putting it and the bezel itself. But otherwise, if you have a TV and just mounting it like this, like big screen, no problem. I think it works really well. So somebody was asking about how much do the Gun4IRs run. It depends on the base that you're getting. So the Super Jolt, the one that I got, it was 400 because of the cost of the Super Jolt, the parts, and then the modding cost of it. So it is expensive because there's no real production of this right now. It's a DIY setup at the moment. Where Ray also does offer kits. I think the cheapest kit that you can get is $150 that he will ship to you, and then you can build it and put it in whatever gun you want. You put it in a Nerf gun, you can put it in the arcade 1-up, big buck hunter shell if you wanted to. You could put it literally in any shell. So I think for kind of pre-done kits, Raymond has said I think 150. But for some of the guns that he does, I think the cheapest one is a GunCon 1, which is around $250. So super reasonable for his labor and for the tech. And JB has been talking about eventually going into later production. But right now, it's early adoption, right? And so we're testing out some of the perks and some of the costs. But if you can find a Super Jolt, that's probably the hardest thing now is getting that original hardware. But it's fantastic. So I love the Super Jolt. It was completely worth it to me. And I do have a sneak peek later on. Raymond is working on a real Namco gun, a pink Namco gun with the recoil too. That's a little bit more expensive, obviously, but that's going to be super great to have him do that. So Raymond, if you're watching, thank you. This is a quick sneak peek. You should message him and let him know that we're doing this.
I did. That's so annoying. Yeah.
We're saying it, but it works. It works with the Pi4. Super excited. So I'm just going to check chat one last time to see if there's any last questions. We'll just end this really quickly. But Duck Hunt on an LED, you are the magician. Not really me. It's a lot of other talented people that did it. So it's Kio Diekin's Venom image. This is JB Labs that programmed it. But just the fact that, again, we could be playing this. Wasn't it who was it? Was it Linus Tech Talk? They're like, you're playing Duck Hunt on an LED, right? So look, we're playing Duck Hunt with a recoil gun on a without any borders except for the bezel. But I mean, if you look at this, it's pretty dang accurate. It's pretty good, and the recoil is that much more fun.
Right. Yeah, Zen. This is actually faster setting it up than on the Descendant.
It feels good, and maybe because there is an actual calibration tool that's on their JB's GitHub page to kind of do some more calibrations when you're in a PC. So I don't know if that could be translated to a Pi.
Yeah, you could do that on the Pi.
Can you?
Yeah, it's all in the emulator.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, because that calibration setting that he has set up, you would just do it once, and then you don't need to run it again. So it pretty much just flashes it to the actual hardware.
And then, remember too, sometimes, depending upon your angle, your sensors and stuff, we just do this together, but once you get that permanent in place.
Boom, boom. Let me hit this last disc, and then we'll end the stream. Boom. Boom.
Oh, that's accurate. That's accurate as heck.
Yeah. Got him. All right, any last questions? Gun4IR seems easier because the software is programmed in Arduino inside instead of having to run it instance. I mean, that's true, right? Obviously, since everything's built in. I have a send-in too that I've been testing. Bobby gave me a send-in as well. So I'm doing my own testing as well to get it set up. But in terms of ease of use, this has been good. But I definitely will be looking at doing some more comparisons. And but this was just the first look at the new tech, right? It's the new shiny toy that everybody's been talking about. I've been happy with it so far. Probably can play with Raymond will probably help me optimize the settings. It did look like there was a little bit of drag, honestly, but Kio said he didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah, but that was just me. I don't think anybody wants to put in a big Duck Hunter. Those guns for like crap. I saw somebody put theirs into a Nerf gun and just obviously modded it afterwards. So there's a lot of things you could put it in if you wanted to. Gunslinger Kong, thanks, Lajamir. What's up, everyone? Hey, send in for the Polymega plans don't seem to be happening And soon, yeah, I don't know about the Polymega too much, but since Sinnen had really announced that they would be the most compatible gun with like so many different systems, I haven't even dived. I mean, the wiki for the Sinnen is deep, right? In terms of all the people in it, the community is really awesome at putting together preset bezels for things, telling you how to set things up. I still found it personally like diving into it for the first time a little bit cumbersome to even know and tweak what all the setting options were. Like on every single tab on the Sinnen software, the calibration menu, it's deep. And I had issues with it at first, and like I didn't want to touch anything for fear of breaking it. It did work out of the box once I started it and tested it. But it was, I think it can be really, really technical versus this. It literally registers as a mouse and 2 buttons, and that's pretty much it. It's almost going back to as simple as like the Vmote, the flash bar, right? Yeah. So once you get the May flash bar, that's essentially what you're doing is just creating a mouse.
Of course.
All right, that's it. So thank you guys all for watching. We just did this really quickly. So we'll see you guys next time. Any last words you want to say?
Peace out, guys. Expect a full video on my channel probably later tonight or probably the next couple of days.
Yeah.
All the behind the scenes action that we were doing prior to this video.
Yeah. So big shout out to Kio Diekin. Thank you so much for visiting.
Oh, thanks for inviting me over.
Yeah. A big shout out to RPEG Electronics, Women Die. Big shout out to JB for making this all possible. Really appreciate you. And we'll be doing more testing. Maybe I'll do a full-on review. We want to just go live. The first Pi4 test with the Gun4IR that we've seen. Maybe there's other folks that did it, but now we have proof. It works. It works, guys. All right. Talk to you guys later. See ya.
See ya.